The curse of strength, why Levi Ackerman was never free. He survived again. That's the horror, not the titans. Not the war, not the walls. The horror is that Levi Ackerman always survives. You've watched him spin through the air like a human razor blade and you thought, that's power, that's the strongest man alive. What a gift. It's not a gift, it's the worst sentence a human being can receive. Allow me to ask you something. Have you ever lost one person, and felt like the world tilted 2 degrees and never tilted back? Now imagine losing everyone. Ferlin, Isabel, your entire original squad. Petra, Oluo, Gunther, Eld, Erwin, Hange, each one eaten, crushed, broken, burned. And you standing there covered in their blood, pulse steady, airways clear, every Ackerman muscle fiber intact, looking at another sunrise you did not earn. This is the formula the Survey Corps never put in their reports. The stronger the soldier, the more funerals he attends. Levi Ackerman is not humanity's strongest soldier. He is humanity's most durable mourner. And that distinction will destroy you if you let it settle. But before we go further, before we talk about Erwin and Hange and Zeke, we need to talk about something even more fundamental. He never had a choice. Not philosophically. Not in the poetic sense. Literally. Biologically. Ackermans are not soldiers who became weapons. They are weapons that were given bodies. A byproduct of Titan science. Bloodlines engineered to protect a host, to follow a purpose, to suppress nothing when the instinct to fight activates. The moment Levi accepted Erwin as his purpose, his Ackerman blood did what it was coded to do. It locked on. That isn't loyalty. That isn't admiration. That is a program running on hardware that cannot uninstall itself. You think he chose to serve humanity. He didn't. His nervous system did. The tragedy isn't that Levi was born strong. The tragedy is that his strength was never his own. He didn't come out of Kenny's underground alley and decide to become the blade of civilization. He was custom assembled for it. Every cell in his body pre-scripted for violence in service of a host. And when the host dies, when Erwin dies, the program doesn't stop. It just runs blind. But even before the Ackerman blood found its target, there was Kenny, the underground city, beneath the walls, beneath sunlight. A place where people are so disposable they don't even warrant the sky, just stone and silence pressing down. Kenny didn't teach Levi about honor, he taught him one absolute truth. The world belongs to those who cut first. When Levi joined the Survey Corps, he didn't find morality. He found Erwin Smith, who gave him a vista direction for the violence that had already been installed since childhood. And there is one more thing Kenny gave him. The smell of the underground never left. Levi knows it the way you know a smell from childhood, the damp stone, the blood that dried on floor cracks, the particular sweetness of rot you learn to breathe around. That smell is in his lungs. It is in his memory. And no amount of obsessive, compulsive scrubbing has ever gotten it out. Have you noticed his hands? Levi Ackerman is infamously, almost comically, clean. A meticulously ordered room. A cup placed just so. Boots free of mud in a world built entirely from mud and blood and grief. Fans treat this as a quirk. A personality trait. Oh, Levi hates mess. Stop laughing. Look closer. What is Levi actually doing when he wipes the blood off his blade with that same rag, that same motion after every single kill? He is trying to clean something that doesn't come off surfaces. He grew up in filth so profound it was structural, embedded in the stone, in the culture, in the very air of the underground. And he has spent every day above ground trying to distance himself from it. The clean hands, the ordered space, the insistence that the fun this at tabletop, the fun this at floor, the fun this at square foot of reality will be orderly and controlled. He can kill titans. He can reshape the outcome of wars. But he cannot wash out the underground. He cannot scrub away the memory of Isabel dying in the dirt, or Petra's body crumpled on the rocks, or the specific weight of Erwin's head as it fell. He can clean the outside. He cannot clean the inside. And the body that refuses to break guarantees he will never stop trying. Every spotless table is a coffin lid. Every wiped blade is an I'm sorry he doesn't know how to say out loud. People talk about Erwin as Levi's anchor. That's correct, but they forget about the other one. Hange Zoe. Erwin was Levi's compass. He told him where to aim the weapon, but Hange was his mirror. Hange was the only person in the Survey Corps who talked to Levi like he was a person first, not a rank. Not a kill count, not an asset. Hange called him an idiot and meant it affectionately, and somehow that specific, irreplaceable, aggravating warmth was the closest Levi ever got to being seen. The Survey Corps looked at Levi and saw a weapon. Erwin looked at him and saw purpose. Hange looked at him and saw the soul. Mine. When Hange died voluntarily, deliberately, choosing a death that would buy the others time a specific irreplaceable thing ended, the last person who looked at Levi and saw a human being instead of an instrument was gone. After Erwin, Levi was a weapon without a host. After Hange, he was a weapon without a name. Without a name. And still, the body held. The heart continued. The Ackerman blood performed its function. Because that is the cruelest feature of the hardware. It doesn't care if you want to stop. After Hange. After Erwin. After Isabel. After Petra. Levi needed one more thing to hold on to. Kill Zeke. That was it. 3 syllables. The entire architecture of his will from Shiganshina forward compressed into a target. Not justice. Not vengeance in any meaningful emotional sense. A reason to keep the program running. Zeke was not Levi's enemy. Zeke was Levi's excuse to exist. Because if there is still a target, then the weapon has a function. And if the weapon has a function, then the man inside the weapon doesn't have to look at what remains when the function is removed. And then the thunder spear goes off. And Levi is blinded, scarred, fingers gone, lying in debris that used to be a war. And Zeke is alive. And later Zeke is dead, not by Levi's hand, by Mikasa's, by the accumulated weight of history. And Levi is just there. The target is gone. And now there is only the void that has been chasing him since the underground. The emptiness that Erwin filled and Hange softened and Zeke temporarily postponed. It is all there. It has always been there. Waiting with the patience of something that knew it would win. Here is the thing the recruitment posters never say. Every military machine needs a component that doesn't break. A part so durable it can be deployed again and again. In every impossible scenario, in every grinding attrition campaign, and still be retrieved from the wreckage, calibrated, and sent back in. That component is not honored. It is a Tudolai was the Survey Corps' single most reliable asset. When every other asset failed, he was deployed. The fallback was always send Levi. He was preserved the way you preserve a blade, not protected, but foiled and sharpened and used again. And the greatest atrocity is that Levi had understood this. He didn't rebel. He accepted it with the quiet clarity of a man who learned in the underground that utility is the only value the world offers someone like him. Humanity's strongest soldier was also humanity's most expendable asset, because no one ever believed he would actually break. And maybe they were right. Maybe that's the cruelest thing of all. The war is over. He completed the mission. The rumbling is stopped. The Titans are gone. The world continues. And Levi sits in a small room, looking at a sky he cannot fully see. For him, the sun is still as dark as the underground. Not because he lost the war, but because the war ended, and no one gave him the next order. No compass, no mirror, no target. He didn't retire like a hero. He was set aside like a machine whose function is complete, moved to a corner. Kept running because the hardware doesn't know how to stop, not because anyone needs the output anymore. Isabel, Ferlin, Petra, Erwin, Hange. He still wipes the blade. There are no more Titans to cut. But the motion was never really about Titans. It was about the underground. The smell of it. The shame of it. The specific weight of being the child Kenny left in the dark, and the man humanity was content to use until there was nothing left to use. You thought his strength was his armor. It was his sentence. Levi Ackerman didn't win the war. He outlasted it. And the greatest tragedy is not that he suffered, it's that his heart kept beating through all of it. Not because he wanted it to. Because no one not Kenny. Not Erwin. Not the Ackerman blood in his veins. Not the universe that kept sending him to bury the people he loved. No one ever asked him what he wanted.